Ladies and gentlemen, my name is TotalBiscuit. I'm here to ask and answer one simple question. WTF is Age of Empires Online? Well, it's an Age of Empires game that's online. Are you shocked by this? I certainly hope not. It's a current beta running over on Games for Windows Live Marketplace. You can get involved in it. Admittedly, I don't know how long it's going on for. It's his last chance to join, so must be getting pretty close to the release window for this particular title. So, it is an Age of Empires game. It's kind of a cartoony Age of Empires game, but it plays pretty much the same as you would expect an Age of Empires game to do, only it's got some rather odd online elements. So, why don't we go into the game and I'll show you exactly what those are. As always, this is a first impression series, so do not treat this as a review. If you do, that's your own fault. You have been warned. Now, this game has so much content, it would take a very long time to fully review it. So I'm giving you my first impressions. This is a couple of hours into the game, and my Greek Empire is currently at level 4. Now, there are supposedly 2 more empires. This one is currently inaccessible, and you've got this one, which we don't even know what that is. So right now we're going to play Greeks, because that's all that's available in the beta. My Greek Empire is currently level 4, so let's go to the grand capital city of Pleiku. On we go. Fantastic. Okay, so this game is a little bit weird, to say the least, and the best way to describe it would be as a combination of Age of Empires, World of Warcraft, and Farmville. Now, don't take the Farmville thing as meaning that it's bad, because it's not. There are a lot of good things about this game, so allow me to explain. So, you have your Age of Empires battles, kind of the same way that the original Age of Empires games worked, and in this case, they're actually in the form of quests. So, for instance here, locating a bunch of merchant carts and returning them. That would be a level in Age of Empires. In this case, it's actually a quest that you pick up, and you are rewarded for that. You can choose one of these rewards, and you also gain experience, coins, and Empire points. Empire points will allow you to buy items and crafting recipes for your capital city right here, which you can build up. Now, this capital city cannot be attacked, so you don't really need to defend it in any specific respect. It is used to construct buildings, craft items, create materials, and gain access to other technologies. Now, speaking of technologies, you do have a tech tree right here, although the tech tree is not exactly what I call expansive. So what you've got is you've got 3 tech trees up to age 4, which is what you're looking at city level 20. I am currently not at city level 20. I'm far, far removed from that. But it seems easy enough to acquire almost all of the tech. As far as I can tell, there's not a huge amount of choice going in there. Once you get up to a certain level, you will have all of this stuff, so you're not really missing out on it. But you can pick certain, say, basic technologies, like I get a loom, for instance, which will give me plus 50% villager health if I feel that's going to be useful to me. I picked up the wheelbarrow because plus 15% movement speed for workers is really good. That increases efficiency. And things like that. You see all of these little technologies there, and the major technologies are the big ones. So you see there a fire ship, you've got a ballista trireme there, you've got all sorts of upgrades here on the economic side of things. Look at the military side, you can see things like your advanced Greek units possessing a wonder. So you can build a wonder in PvP, and if you hold it for a time, then you win, which once again is a concept taken from Age of Empires. So that's that. That's how that works. And you gain points in terms of your empire by leveling up. How do you level up, you might ask? You do quests, and you complete objectives, and you kill things in the actual quests themselves. Now that shows me what resources I've got right now. I've got a little materials workshop right here whose sole purpose is to make me copper ingots. Now, it can make me copper ingots, but it takes a lot of time to do that. So that's where this persistent online element comes in, and I say it's a little bit Farmville-y, because you've got buildings that are constantly producing resources. Now, you also have an inventory right here that will allow you to gather resources. You can gather these inside the quests as well. There's often a lot of hidden chests. I found about 2 every level, and usually they contain resources such as animal hides, grain, stone blocks, and things like that. Now, what you also have are these items. Now, this is where the World of Warcraft-y element comes in. You've got items that can be equipped on things. So if I were to right-click right here, I can see what I can equip this on. And this is plating, so I'm going to put this on my triremes right there, and that gives it a little bonus. It's not a particularly good item, but of course it can go all the way up to epic items later on. So I can apply, bind that to my city, I can move it around then. It just means that once I've bound it to my city, I can't then sell it to another player. You can see in the corner right there, massive numbers of people trying to sell all sorts of stuff that will perhaps disappear once the beta ends, who knows. And you're seeing all sorts of epic items and things of people that have been playing for an awful lot longer than I have. You can see my equipment right here. This is the selection of units I currently have at my disposal, and this is the equipment that I have on those units. So here, my scout actually has 2 items, Novice Vanguard Helm and a Novice Sacred Hauberk. You can equip pretty much everything in the game, honestly, and that means that you're going to have an awful lot of equipment to consider. For instance, right here, my basic military units consist of these 2. You start with a spearman, and this is a hepacifist, or something along those lines. Hypacifist. I don't even know. Whatever the case, it's an evil, evil dude, and will chop your enemies into tiny little pieces. Okay, so that's the basic metagame surrounding it. Level up, gain resources, craft items, get rares, upgrade your army, do more missions. And the missions, as I said before, are pretty much like the campaign missions in Age of Empires, which is why I found the complaining on r/gaming lately. They were doing a little bit of a discussion about Age of Empires Online. People were saying, oh, it's just a grind fest, all these missions like kill 10 boars, etc. It's like, did you not play the original games? This is what Age of Empires was in the campaign. You had a bunch of missions with different objectives to complete. Well, as it turns out, you've got an awful lot more of those in this particular game as well. And that's just how it works. Now, once you get to level 10, you do unlock skirmishes. There's also elite versions of some quests as well as co-op, and there is, needless to say, PvP, just like the old Age of Empires being able to play against other people. But it's all tied into this persistent metagame thing that's going on. Now, you'll see you've got various areas right here, which will give you access to all sorts of things. If I were to travel to Mycenae, for instance, which we can do right now, then Mycenae has a number of different vendors that I can access. There are no quests available here, as far as I can tell, for the time being. But I can gain access to these vendors right here. I could buy shields if I had the level to do so, spending all of these resources in order to do that. There you go, you just see resources there. I can buy advisors, which require an advisor hall. That gives you a bunch of bonuses and also unlocks new technologies for you, and things like that. And there's some crafting recipes. So loads and loads of different things within the metagame of this particular title. So without further ado, are we ready for some farming? Well, this is a challenge mission. This is going to be fairly boring, but it shouldn't take too long. Now, this involves advancing to Age 2 and then building 4 farms, and you're going to do that in 8 minutes. Now, why do you do that? Well, mostly because missions like this are designed to teach you how to play the game in an optimal manner. It's kind of like the challenges in StarCraft 2, if you remember correctly, and you certainly should, I would think. Okay, so first things first, find out what I need to get to Iron Age. To advance to Iron Age, I need 200 wood and 200 food, so I'm going to start prioritizing that. Now, what you can do is, just like the old game, there is the storehouse, which can be built. And we're going to plonk that there, because that's a nice and efficient place to go. And then, of course, we can have our guys mining over here. So, just like StarCraft 2 as well, you can bind this if I so desire. There we go, bind 2 and bind 3 for hotkeys. So, I'm going to send my scout around to have a look and see what's going on. See if there's any treasure. There might be. And what we also have there are some cows. You can take control of those. Now, in the meantime, I need to keep building workers as quickly as possible. I'm going to bind them over there, so we don't need any military units for the time being. The only thing we have is a scout. Now, the scout should be able to kill that archer, and that's a treasure chest. I was talking about that earlier. This treasure can be collected, and it usually involves a bunch of really useful items. Okay. Very nice, very nice. So we need to advance to the Iron Age as quickly as possible, so our priority for the time being is to gather food and also to gather wood. Got plenty mining for the time being. I'm going to go slaughter that cow because there's 200 food on that. Has my scout beaten him yet? No, he actually hasn't. Is he going to beat him? I certainly hope so, because that would be really terrible if he didn't. Can I deploy some bandit archers to help him out? No, I require Age 2 for that. I think he should win this fight. Yeah, he should do. It's looking pretty likely. It does fall victim to the old Age of Empires formula of having guys beat on other dudes for ages and have almost nothing happen in the process. That's kind of stupid, but hey, if you're used to Age of Empires, then you shouldn't have a problem with that at all. There we go, cleaned out, and a campfire for me. What is in the chest? That's some resources. That's 25 pine planks that I can use back at my capital city once I finish this mission. So, always worth exploring these areas to find out exactly what's going on. We need to make ourselves up to Age 2 as quickly as possible and divert some workers over to dealing with that. I don't want to spend any more food because I need to upgrade. Currently, I've spent 2 minutes 20, which means I'm looking to be on course for that. So as I said before, this, I think, is designed to teach you how to optimize your build orders. And yes, it is important. It looks like a casual game, but it's not. I mean, it's as complex as the old Age of Empires was. It's got all of the resources and things like that. So just because it looks cartoony, don't think that it's not a complex game and it doesn't have any depth. It does, just like Warcraft 3, which was also a cartoony game. I actually like the graphic style an awful lot. I think it gives the game some genuine character, and I would have preferred that to a more realistic approach. It is a good-looking game if you like this graphic style. I think a lot of people don't really understand that graphic styles are often subjective. So some people will say, oh, this has bad graphics. Like, by what metric exactly? How are you comparing it? How is this working in your mind? Because it doesn't really make all that much sense to me. Right now, what I'm seeing is something that is absolutely cartoony. Does that mean it looks bad? No, it doesn't mean it looks bad at all. It means that it is a cartoony game. It is a deliberate artistic decision from them. Their art department decided that this was the way they wanted the game to look. So yeah, there you go. There's nothing bad looking about this game, and I find the graphic style to be quite charming. Okay, so we are beating away on that wood right there. Yes, quite. And what we need to do is get up 4 farms. We're going to build the second one right there. Farms can only be tended by a single worker, but of course they have infinite resources, as opposed to these and these, which are limited, which you should be well aware of if you've ever played an Age of Empires game before. Just need to keep getting the wood out right now. Food is not actually so important, so I'm not too worried. Apparently we have 3 idle villagers. Yes, we do. They're over there. That's silly. Hotkey-wise, by the way, I just want to show you this, because this should make you a little bit happy if you happen to be a RTS fan. You can basically rebind every hotkey in the game, and I do mean every one. Individual, you see these individual buildings right there? You can do all of this. What I do like is the fact that all of the basic units are all hotkeyed to A by default. So if you select something and you hit A, if you are a Terran player, of course you know exactly what that means, build Marine. In this case, it builds the basic unit. You can rebind it to a custom key. If you like, you can do whatever the hell you please as regards to your bindings, which is good. Definitely like the ability to customize like that. Okay, let's get the third farm up. We have 3 minutes 30 remaining, and having the hiccups during a commentary is bad. So let's hope that doesn't happen. Okay. And then we'll go build our 4th farm, and that will be us done for this particular mission. Now, I did scout around with this single unit. I don't think there's another chest here. It would be kind of silly, because one scout won't be able to do anything. He's too badly injured. I mean, Could I build a barracks? I suppose maybe I could, but it just seems pointless. I'll have a look around and see if there's another one. You got all these resources as well, like wolves. Wolves are resources, but wolves are resources that kill you, so that's a little bit unpleasant. There we go, 4 farms built, and that's this mission complete. Fantastic. Losing units and things like that doesn't matter in any way. These cities, these missions, they give you resources, they don't affect anything else, so you can play this as badly as you like, or as well as you like. It won't make a difference, unless of course you're playing elite mode, which you can see right there, or there are some optional objectives. So getting to Empire points, we've got some new tools. Now these are valuable, certainly. We can equip these on villagers, and that's gonna increase the gathering speed on pretty much everything, so that's really good. Also 1,000 experience, and there we go. Return back to the quest city. I also like the fact that it has really, really quick load times. Incredibly fast. This isn't running off an SSD or anything. This is just on a normal external USB drive, and the loading time's about 1.5 seconds. So I'm really happy about that. There we go. So we complete the quest, and we gain the item, and we equip the item. We equip the item. Why do you do this? Yes, bug report indeed. We equip the item. There we go. Problem solved. So that's a little bit of a speed boost for my villagers. There are also a couple of other equipment slots you can equip that. I mean, there's just so much you can do in terms of gearing up everything you own. Okay, let's try and find a mission that's a little bit more combat-orientated. I think the last mission I've got to do on this one is get the goods. Locate and recover stolen merchant carts. So one has to assume this is going to involve fighting, so we're going to go right into that one. Nice quick load time, and here we go. Right, so you start off with a couple of buildings, so you got to figure out what's going on. So we're going to bind barracks to 2, bind town center to 3. Again, works the same as StarCraft 2, very easy to switch between them. So we've got some workers right here. What do we need? Well, food, certainly. We're going to get 2 on food, and we're going to get 3 on wood. Do we have a storehouse anywhere near something useful? In this area right here looks useful. I'm going to build a storehouse right next to it so that we get nice and optimal. Okay. I'm going to send my scout to have a look. You can shift Q, by the way, if you so desire, and I would certainly recommend that you do so. We've got a few spearmen to start us off, and if we do get through to age 2, I have another infantry unit that is very effective. Okay, well, that's one of the merchant carts. I'm having him look around to see if we can find any secrets around this level as well, because it would be nice to be able to grab some more chests. We've located 2 merchant carts. We will have to rescue them. We're going to need units in order to make that happen. In the meantime, let's get some workers on the field. So, food-wise, we're fine for the moment. I think we might need a couple more on food, get some wood going. I think our first priority, perhaps, is to actually advance up through to the Iron Age. So, I'm going to prioritize wood and food for the time being until that happens. There is a chest there, which we can go grab later on. My scout is nice and quick, thankfully, so is able to scout most of these areas around, and we've also found some of the merchant carts as well. They're highlighted on the map, and we'll go gather those later once we have the units for it. I would like to get through to tier 2 so that I can gain access to the farms and things like that, and the more advanced infantry units. Now, up until this point, I haven't really been attacked by anybody, but I have to assume that the later levels do get significantly trickier in that regard. For the moment, though, they're just going to leave me be. As I said before, it does take quite a lot of time to really get started in this game. These missions are certainly enjoyable, and there's actually a lot of variety in them as well. More variety than the original Age of Empires, that's for sure. So you've got all sorts of different things that you can do. It's not just destroy all buildings. In fact, it very rarely is destroy all buildings. Oh, they're actually going to attack me. There we go. That was the first time I've ever seen a bandit actually go for my city. But as it turns out, we have guard towers, so we don't really have anything to worry about unless they come in with large numbers, which right now they're certainly not. So we've located 5 out of 7 of the carts, so I can only imagine that the rest are going to be around here, so we'll send them to scout and then leave. Food count is looking fine. I think we can cancel off 2 of those villages. I'm doing the same thing I do with StarCraft 2. I queue too much, and then we can Iron Age after that. There we go. Okay, we have successfully found all of the merchant carts. Still getting attacked over there, which is not really all that important. The guard towers should be able to deal with them nice and easy. Now, we have 1 racks. That means we need 2 racks, folks. We need to build 2 racks. So, that's easy enough. We need more wood, however, to make that happen. These guys are getting wood nice and efficiently. They don't need to really move back at all. They're right next to a storehouse, so that's nice and easy. Going through to Iron Age, and I think we're going to get some spearmen on the field. Get a few more guys up. One, I would like to nab these 2 chests, which I've located. That is very well guarded. Mercenary complete. Moderately guarded hut, which probably means it's got something really nice in it. So I'm going to get a good unit count in order to make that happen. Also, good to keep an eye out for different resources on the map. For instance, we've got gold right here, which we will certainly need. So I'm going to start getting some gold out. Once I've advanced through to age 2, which I believe I have now done, start work on the farms as well. There we go. Pop down 2 farms. And I think we will also maybe get another barracks down. Sounds like a good, solid plan. Come on, get those trees sorted out. Those trees are forming a natural barrier at the moment, but I'm not too worried about being attacked. So, get the 2 barracks selected. There we go. Get them nice and hotkeyed up. Nothing to really worry about there. We have 1 farm going. Go and sort out the second one. And we can now build these hyperspist. I don't even know. Whatever the case, I'm going to build some of those because they are very, very good. Supply's okay. I refuse to get supply blocked in Age of Empires. That's not happening. Build more farms. That's the best way to avoid that from happening. Now, you can also have units build multiple guys if... Well, what am I talking about? We can have workers build a building with more than 1 person, and it will build faster. I don't know what the optimal number is, because I haven't played this game for long enough to realize that, but still, you're not restricted in the way that you would be in, say, StarCraft 2. You can have multiple people building, and everything is just fine. Okay, now I've got 2 of those out. work on a few more of these. We definitely need to get some more gold going. I'm thinking we might also get the wheelbarrow upgrade at some point if that's helpful. An idle worker? Unacceptable. Okay, so we're getting a reasonable force together now. Supply is getting a little bit low, so I'm going to build a farm. No, I'm not, because that's not the right thing. I'm going to build a house, not a farm. You must construct additional pylons. Okay, I've got a reasonable little force right here, so the first thing to do is I'm going to go take that chest and hope that these hoplites don't do too much damage to me. We'll see how that works out. In the meantime, keep getting workers out. Food count is good. More workers, more dudes. Spam, of course. It's the way it's done. Now, you can attack a move just like you would expect, and I don't want to fight all of these at once, so let's get in there. Now, my sword troops are nice and effective. You can see that the animation quality, it's quite nice. It's a bit over-exaggerated, which you'd expect for a cartoony game. It's pretty good. I'm hoping that I have the units for this. It looks like I do, so that shouldn't be a problem. Oh my god, micro! Micro! Move away the dying units. We're losing a couple of guys, but nothing to really concern myself with at the moment. There we go. No problems whatsoever. And we can take control of that chest. I'd like to know what's in it. Is it anything cool? It certainly should be. Grain and grain. I am not so excited about the grain, I have to say, but there you go. Right. So we need to start getting some of these carts back. Should be easy enough. I think we have the unit count. In the meantime, build more dudes. And I'm fairly sure that was bound to A. Aha. Right. We have hit the limit. So, queue up some houses. And remember, folks, you can get multiple workers to help. Always the kind of thing, if you play StarCraft 2, you're not really used to. Wouldn't really blame you. And also, I must point out, this has the best donkey animation in any game ever. Behold, prancing donkey. Is that not the best thing you've ever seen? That's the wonderful thing about cartoony graphics, folks. This kind of thing can happen. Attack move. There we go. Sort that out. Pop Mr. Donkey in there. Supply count is looking good now. Now, is it H for these? Let's check the hotkeys, because I'd like to know exactly what the hotkey for that is. It doesn't display. This is a feature of the UI that I would quite like. Maybe it's one of these options. There are a lot of options, so holding Alt will display hit point bars. That's always nice. Doesn't seem to have a show hotkeys, as far as I can tell. It would be nice if that was there. In the meantime, however, Greek barracks, multiple spearmen. You can actually spam to build loads. Multiple hepaspist or whatever the hell it is. Shift S, apparently. Okay. There we go, and that will actually queue up as many as you can afford by the looks of it. That's kind of a neat feature. Day 9 would hate it, I can guarantee it. It's like, oh my god, idle money. You'd probably have a good point as well, but there you go. Deal with it for the moment. We've got a lot of gold coming in. We're a little short on food for the time being. Okay. So, let's get this army together and let's go and deal with a few more of these carts, shall we? So overall, thus far, I'm actually really enjoying this. This seems to be a really solid title. The idea of mixing a online metagame with a RTS is not new, but the way that this is executed is actually very, very good. The actual game seems fine. I don't see anything wrong with it in comparison to the original Age of Empires games. It seems to have an awful lot going for it. And the fact that you can equip your soldiers with a vast array of different gear does add an awful lot more depth to the game, in my opinion. It's a great idea. I have no problems with it being there. None whatsoever. I think that some of the purists might dislike it, but I'm actually kind of not a purist, so I don't really care. I don't mind if they decide to do something different with a game like this. It's not really something that concerns me all that much. Far as I can tell, it seems to be an exceptionally good idea. Okay, we have more guys, so we'll go and do some more damage. I think we've easily got enough to split into 2 groups without too much of a problem at all. Get the cart all the way back to where it needs to be. Send these guys over there. Apparently I've only returned 1 cart. Where did the other one go? Did it actually get home, or did I put it somewhere random? Oh, it's there. Go on, donkey. Off you prance. Fantastic. No real point in destroying that hut other than to get a little bit of bonus experience. There's no point in really farming and grinding experience on a level. You gain so little of it in comparison to quest completion, so don't even bother as far as I'm concerned. Don't go around killing everything because you think, hey, I get some bonus experience. Think about it. You got 5 experience for killing that guy, you get 1,000 experience for beating this mission. In fact, I think it might even be more, so yeah, there's very little point. Okay, we're going to get some more guys out, many as we can. So we've rescued that cart. I think what I'd maybe like to see is the idea of, and I don't know if this is in later missions, but of rewarding you for completing a level in a very efficient way. For instance, give you maybe... I don't know. Would I want to play these missions again? I suppose maybe I wouldn't. But it would still be kind of nice to at least give you something for doing really, really well. I would find value in that, personally. I don't know if you guys would. Okay, there are also abilities that you can use, by the way. In this case, I could summon some bandit archers for a limited time by spending some gold. There are an awful lot of abilities you can research and unlock in this game, and you can have access to them in PvE, and one assumes you can take a selection to PvP as well. As I said, I haven't actually done any PvP, but from what I've heard from other people it's just like playing Age of Empires. It's an Age of Empires game, and you either destroy your enemy or you build a wonder or whatever the case. There's nothing wrong with that. Sounds perfectly reasonable to me. Unfortunately, as you can see, this is Games for Windows Live, so you do get these annoying loud pop-ups every now and again. I believe you can disable those, though, so it's not the worst thing in the world. Games for Windows Live is a particularly poor system. I'm not a big fan of it at all. It doesn't seem to give added value. It's actually quite the opposite. It's a DRM method that ties you into an annoying chat room that I don't really want. But never mind. Deal with it for the time being. Send those last 2 carts home. Might as well kill some more guys while we're here. Just attack move them in there. Slaughter a few dudes. And yes, those were my bandits falling over. That is supposed to happen. They only last for a short period of time. Enthusiastic Donkey is on his way back, and that will be a completion for us. Now, you can party invite people for co-op and PvP, as you can see right there. In this case, I don't believe this is a co-op mission. I think you can just do it single player only. But I think doing these missions co-op would make things a lot more interesting. And there we go. Get to the goods is completed. What do we get from that? 3,000 experience, 30 coins, and we can choose some rewards. Time being, I think I'm going to take some stone blocks. You have to pick these up when you actually go back to the quest giver here. So there we go. Stone blocks. Complete. Wunderbar. And level 5 as well. That's ideal, because that means I can also show you the tech tree and picking an item off of it. You get some points every time you level up to pick whatever you so desire. We have a look at some utility stuff. Armory, research, unit upgrades. Always cool. What's that? It's a market. Caravans. An academy to research advanced upgrades. I'd hit that and that, I think. That sounds reasonable. And those are the kind of things that you gain access to within the combat areas and not here. This stuff is a little bit different. I'll show you this. So, the construction store, you can gain items to build in your capital city. Now, these are just decorations. I don't really see the point in those, but these actually do useful things. Like the Skinner's Workshop will actually produce you a small number of animal hides, like 1 every 30 minutes or something, just like this smelting workshop that I have right here. What you also have is an Empire Store. This will give you special abilities. You can grab all of these things. All of these actually require, I think these require age 3, but these are okay, so. This whole Advisor's Hall thing is supposed to be tied into premium content. So I'm not really sure how that actually works up until this point, especially in the beta. But what I will say about it is that this game is free, at least it will be, but it's based on a premium content system. So I believe in the full game, you only gain access to equipping rare and epic items if you happen to be a premium empire, so you have to buy your empire slot. You also have to buy content packs, which consist of content, a bunch of different missions, PvP stuff, and things like that. So you can play for free, but obviously you'll be a little bit limited. Now, they are saying there are no microtransactions, quote-unquote, which means that you're not going to be spending small amounts of money for experience boosts or anything like that. That's what they said in the FAQ, and that's current to today on the website, so we'll see whether or not they decide to change that attitude. Whatever the case, my impressions of it are actually really positive. It looks like a very, very solid game. Admittedly, you do have to play for several hours to get to level 10 in order to start playing skirmishes, which might be the kind of thing that you just wanted to do from the very start. So if that's what you're looking for and you don't want to do any of this, then I think you are going to be in a bit of a pickle, because you don't have a choice in the matter. You have to do all of this stuff. This is what the game is actually designed around doing. But I think that the meta aspect of it does add a significant amount of depth to the game. I like that a lot. There is a social aspect to it, which could add a lot if I actually wanted to interact with any of these people around here that are doing nothing but just simply spamming sales stuff. You got looking for group right here, which has nobody in it whatsoever, and then you've got a useful ticker, which is basically your combat log, tells you all sorts of different information. But I think they've done a very solid job with this, and I think this is the kind of game that I would definitely play upon launch. It does have the content that I'm looking for, and I like the mix. I think they've created a hybrid RTS title with a focus on RTS that is very, very good and does everything right, pretty much. It's very hard for me to pick fault with it at this stage in the game. Admittedly, it might have all sorts of problems later on at level 25 and 30 and things like that, but certainly in the early game, it's definitely worth a shot, and since it's free and it's currently running open beta, you really don't have any excuse not to at least take a look at this title. And don't be put off by the whole Farmville thing, because really the meta aspect of this and the city building is actually very good and adds to the game rather than takes away from it. My name is TotalBiscuit, and that was a look at Age of Empires Online. I will see you next time.